Predictions and Events Following the End of World War II, 1946 to present. Editor's note: unlike the previous writings, the priest Zaharich is now speaking directly in his diary about his conversations with Mitar Tarabich. One Mitar told me that the man with blue eyes and the star upon his forehead would break the long-lasting love with our Christian Orthodox brothers, the Russians. He would not be grateful to them for the fact that he was sitting on our throne because they had put him there in the first place. A great hatred would erupt between us and the Russians. Blood would be spilled among our people. These wounds would be quickly healed and we would again be friends with the Russians, but never sincerely, only formally, pretending for the sake of others not to understand how we cheat and lie to each other. Historical facts: in 1948, Tito refused to accept orders from USSR leader Joseph Stalin, the man who formed him politically in the early 1920s and sent him back to Yugoslavia to organize a communist party. The USSR denounced Tito, accusing him of major deviations from orthodox communist policy. Tito purged and executed members of his party who opposed this decision. Cordial relations with communist USSR resumed after Stalin's death in 1953. Yugoslavia's relationship with the democratic capitalist countries caused mistrust with the USSR. 2. After the Great War, peace will reign all over the world. Many new states will appear: black, white, red and yellow. An international court is formed, which does not allow countries to fight each other. This court will be above all kings. Where a war starts, the court will judge justly, trying to transform hatred and butchery into love and peace. The lucky ones who live to see these times will be more than happy. Historical facts: in December 1945, the United Nations, UN, was established. Articles 33 to 38 of the Charter authorize the Security Council to encourage disputing nations to settle their differences through peaceful means, including negotiations, inquiry, mediation, conciliation, arbitration, and judicial settlement. From 1946 to 1970, dozens of countries from Asia, Africa, the Middle East and South America achieved independence. 3. After a while, some great kings, as well as some small ones, will start to fake their respect for the court while doing whatever they please. Many small wars will begin because of this. Thousands upon thousands will die, but there will be no big wars. Historical facts: Korean War, 1950 to 1953, Vietnam War, 1959 to 1975, Afghanistan War, 1979 to 1988, Nicaragua and the Iran-Contra scandal, 1979 to 1989, etc. 4. There will be a few wars around the Kingdom of Israel, but sooner or later the peace will come even there. In these wars, brothers fight brothers, then they make peace and kiss each other, but their hatred remains. All these small wars are initiated by the great kingdoms because of their wickedness and malice. Those who fight and butcher each other do it because of their blind stupidity. Historical facts: in 1947, the State of Israel was founded in the Middle East. In 1967, a war known as the Six-Day War broke out between Israel and its Arab neighbors. In 1975, civil war broke out in Lebanon, with involvement of the Iranians, Syrians, Palestinians, and Israelis. Other wars included the Iraq-Iran War, 1980 to 1988, the Iraq-Kuwait War, 1991, etc. 5. In our country, the time of peace and prosperity will last for a long time. Many a generation will be born to live and die in peace, knowing about war only through wise books, words, and different strange apparitions. Historical facts: in 1965 and 1966, economic reforms in Yugoslavia produced what has been called an economic revolution. Total industrial production in 1957 increased by 70% or over that of 1953, and by 1966 it was more than double the 1957 figure. By 1967, prices had been stabilized, savings were increasing steadily and labor productivity had risen by about 7%. TV and radio enjoyed a great boom in the 1950s and 1960s. 6. Our kingdom will be strong and well loved and respected by everybody. People will eat only white bread and whole wheat just when they want to. Everybody will ride around in carts with no oxen. People will travel in the sky, looking down upon our land as if they had climbed on the doubled Tara mountain. Historical facts: there was economic prosperity, coupled with the introduction of the car, bus, van, and air transportation. Yugoslavia started its own airline company. 7. Serbia will prosper best while the man with blue eyes on a white horse governs, one who will come to Serbia bringing some kind of new religion. He will ascend our throne, and will be strong and healthy, living a long life close to 100 years. He will very much like to hunt, and one time while hunting he will accidentally fall from his white horse and thus lose his leg. From this wound he will die, not because of his great age. Historical facts: Tito's leadership brought economic prosperity and communism to Yugoslavia. Tito lived until 87 years of age, 1892 to 1980. He did not have a hunting accident, but he enjoyed horse riding and hunting. The real cause of his death was diabetes, which caused his leg to be amputated. 8. After him our land will be governed by some kind of commission, but it will never be as it was. Even though the people in our kingdom will forget about misery and hunger and will live in great wealth, brother will start to hate and think evil of brother. Historical facts: after Tito's death, Yugoslavia was ruled by collective presidency until 1991. In the 1980s, tensions ran high in the southern Serbian province of Kosovo, which had become autonomous in 1968 after riots protesting against Serbian control. Seeking more independence and calling for a separate republic, the majority population of ethnic Albanians clashed with Serbians and Montenegrins throughout the decade. 9. On our borders and over them a new nation will appear. They will grow like grass after a deluge. They will be good and honest, and they will answer our hatred with reason. They will take care of each other like brothers. And we, because of our madness, shall think that we know everything and that we can do anything, and we shall baptize them with some new fate of ours, but all that will be in vain because they will believe only in themselves and in nobody else. Big trouble will come of it, because this nation will be brave. Historical facts: after the parliaments of Croatia and Slovenia passed declarations of independence on June 25, 1991, the Yugoslavian federal government ordered the Serb-dominated army to suppress the secessionists. A 10-day war was fought in Slovenia, but ended with a Serb defeat. The war in Croatia lasted 7 months, ending in January 1992. These secessions and the declaration of independence by the Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia in September 1991 marked the end of the de facto existence of Yugoslavia. The similar declaration by Bosnia and Herzegovina in March 1992, and the ensuing fighting, marked the outbreak of the Bosnian, Croatian, Serbian War. 10 Many summers this trouble will last, and nobody will be able to stop it, because that nation will grow like grass. One who will be born many summers after you will be honest and intelligent, he will deal with them in peace. We shall live in peace, they there, us here, and there. Historical facts: the Bosnian, Croatian, Serbian War lasted for 5 years, 1991 to 1995. One of the major aspects of the conflict was international involvement, both diplomatic and military, by NATO. The international community took a series of limited measures including peace initiatives and peace plans. They there, us here, and there. After the war, ethnic Croatians lived only in Croatia while ethnic Serbs lived in both Serbia and Croatia. 11 You see, my godfather, when the world starts to live in peace and abundance after the second big war, all of that will be just a bitter illusion because many will forget God and they will worship only their own human intelligence. And do you know, my godfather, what is human intelligence compared to God's will and knowledge? Not even a single drop in the ocean. Historical facts: With the increase in scientific knowledge and the consequent scientific explanation of phenomena formerly considered supernatural, atheism became a more natural and less despised philosophical trend. 12 men will build a box and within will be some kind of gadget with images, but they will not be able to communicate with me already dead, even though this image gadget will be as close to this other world as hairs on the human scalp are close to each other. With the help of this image gadget, man will be able to see everything that is happening all over the world. Historical facts, invention of television and the computer. Influence of the Internet, CNN, Al Jazeera, Fox News, CCTV, etc. Searching Google with the search words ghost and detector takes us to this entry, 1 EMF detectors. EMF detectors were designed to detect electromagnetic emissions from microwave ovens and high-tension electrical wires. EMF detectors alert investigators to the presence of ghosts by measuring electromagnetic distortion in the 2 to 7 milligauss range. The models that come most highly recommended by paranormal investigators are the tri-field EMF detector and the tri-field natural M. 13 people will drill wells deep in the ground and dig out gold, which will give them light, speed and power, and the earth will shed tears of sorrow because there will be much more gold and light on its surface than in its interior. The earth will suffer because of these open wounds. Instead of working in the fields, people will dig everywhere, in right and wrong places, but the real power will be all around them, not being able to tell them, "Come on, take me, don't you see that I am here, all around you?" Only after many a summer, people will remember this real power, and then they will realize how stupid it was to dig all those holes. Historical facts, oil, petroleum, also known as black gold, powers the car, electric generator, plane, etc. Exploration to find oil fields is an economically risky task, but in the 1980s the oil exploration technique was perfected, although the risks of discovering economically non-viable oil fields still existed. Oil experts have estimated that by 2050, world oil reserves will run dry. 14 This power will also be present in people, but it will take a long time before they discover it and use it. Thus man will live for a long time, not being able to know himself. There will be many learned men who will think, through their books, that they know and can do everything. They will be the great obstacle for this realization, self-knowledge, but once men get this knowledge then people will see what kind of delusion it was when they listened to their learned men. When that happens, people will be so sorry that they didn't discover it before, because this knowledge is so simple. People will do many stupid things, thinking that they know and can do everything, not knowing anything. Wise men will appear in the Orient, and their wisdom will cross all seas and frontiers, but people will not trust this wisdom for a long time, and this real truth they will proclaim for a lie. Their souls will not be possessed by the devil, but by something much worse. They will believe that their illusion is the real truth, although there will be no truth in their heads. Here at home it will be the same as all over the world. People will start to hate clean air and this divine freshness and all divine beauty, and will hide in rankness. Nobody will force them to do that, but they will do it of their own free will. Here in Kremna, many a field will become a meadow and many a home will be abandoned, but then those who have left will come back to heal themselves by breathing fresh air. In Serbia, it will not be possible to distinguish a man from a woman. Everybody will dress the same. This calamity will come to us from abroad, but it will stay with us the longest. A groom will take a bride, but nobody will know who is who. People will be lost and more senseless day by day. Men will be born not knowing who was their grandfather and great-grandfather. People will think that they know everything, but not a thing they will know. Historical facts, as has been happening all over the world, people are leaving rural areas to seek jobs in the big cities. More women are having their hair cut short and are wearing trousers, as compared to the time of Tarabich. Children born out of wedlock has become commonplace. 15 The Serbs will separate from each other and they will say, "I am not a Serb, I am not a Serb." the unholy one will infiltrate this nation and bed with Serbian sisters, mothers, and wives. He will sire such children that among the Serbs, since the beginning of the world, these will be the worst of offspring. Only weaklings will be born, and nobody will be strong enough to give birth to a real hero. Even historical facts: after the split of Yugoslavia into Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia, and Kosovo, UN peacekeeping forces were stationed in the Balkan states. Most of them were male, so there was the possibility of their bedding Serbian females. Or this may refer to the widespread, systematic rapes during the Balkan War. The Serbs view those peacekeeping forces as foreign invaders that sided with Croatian, Bosnian and Albanian in Kosovo. 16 At one time we shall disappear from this land of ours. We shall go to the north, and then realizing our stupid deed we shall return. When we come back, we shall wise up and chase away the unholy one, not to see him, in God's name, ever again. Historical facts: by the time the Balkan War ended in 1995, the Serbian, Croatian and Bosnian economies were ruined and there was widespread unemployment. Serbian, Croatian, and Bosnian people have to go to Germany, Denmark, Belgium, etc. in the north to work. In Kosovo, Serbs have become refugees. As of June 2004, there were 200,000 Serb refugees from Kosovo, and only 80,000 Serbs remained in Kosovo. As of March 2004, KFOR in Kosovo had 19,000 troops from a peak of 50,000, and as of June 2004, S4 in Bosnia had 7,000 troops from the peak of 60,000. As of June 2004, there was news from Kosovo that ethnic Albanians were chasing ethnic Serbs from Kosovo, using mob riots to destroy churches and houses belonging to the Serbs, while KFOR troops were behaving like lame ducks. 17 The whole world will be plagued by a strange disease and nobody will be able to find a cure. Everybody will say, I know, because I am learned and smart, but nobody will know anything. People will think and think, but they will not be able to find the right cure, which will be with God's help, all around them and in themselves. 18 Man will travel to other worlds to find lifeless deserts there, and still, God forgive him, he will think that he knows better than God himself. There, except for the eternal peace of God, he will see nothing, but he will sense with his heart and soul all of God's beauty and power. People will drive in rigs upon the moon and stars. They will look for life, but life similar to ours they will not find. It will be there, but they will not be able to understand it and see that it is life. One who goes there, God forgive him, not believing in God as it is proper for an honorable and decent person, when he comes back he will say, Oh, you people who mention God's name with doubt, go there where I was, then you will see what is God's mind and power. 19 The more people will know, the less they will love and care for each other. Hatred will be so great between them that they will care more for their different gadgets than for their relatives. Man will trust his gadget more than his first neighbor. 20 Among people of a nation far in the north, a little man will appear who will teach men about love and compassion, but there will be many hypocrites around him so that he will have many ups and downs. Not one of these hypocrites will want to know what is real human grace, but his wise books will remain and all the words he will say, and then people will see how self-deceived they were. 21. Those who will read and write different books with numbers will think that they know the most. These learned men will let their lives be led by their calculations, and they will do and live exactly how these numbers tell them. Among these learned men there will be good and evil men. The evil ones will do evil deeds. They will poison air and water and spread pestilence over the seas, rivers, and earth, and people will start to die suddenly of various ailments. Those good and wise will see that all this effort and hard work is not worth a penny and that it leads to the destruction of the world, and instead of looking for wisdom in numbers they will start to seek it in meditation.